but you and your mom. That's incredible to see how you both share this love for fitness.
I've got 4 brothers and sisters, so she was a busy mom. She didn't sit down hardly ever. She was always active. But I think it's really important for women to realize that muscle is really important, especially as you age. And you really focus on those 15 minutes or 10 minutes to exercise, you can get good exercise workout in. There's nothing I don't eat. I try and keep it balanced. I try and get most of my nutrition from whole natural foods. I try and aim to get enough protein every single day. I try and eat a balanced nutrition.
Home workout expert, mom of 7, guiding women over 50 ease into menopause and get fitter. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Dalyce Radtke, who's going to be talking to us about women's health, menopause, and getting fitter after 50. So welcome, Dalyce ma'am, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current?
I guess I can go back to when I first started training. I've always been a fitness, gym rat. From the age of 20s, I joined a gym and just fell in the process of just taking care of my body, And over the years, I've, with each baby, I became more and more aware of how important it was to take care of your body, especially being a mom now and through each pregnancy. And it just ignited a passion inside me for fitness. And so over the years of raising my children, I started taking workshops and all different kinds of classes. I started teaching classes. I became an instructor, became a certified personal trainer. And, I just loved it, and just that developed into taking on clients, and through COVID that transferred over to doing things online, and now just with the ability to do training online, it enables me to reach more women instead of just groups where I was taking them in my own private studio. Now I can reach a large group at once. So yeah.
Right, of course. And it's amazing to see you inspire so many women out there, and not just you, but you and your mom. That's incredible to see how you both share this love for fitness, and you both are so active, and the learnings that you share with each other and everyone out there. So I'm so glad to have you here today on the podcast, and we can't wait to dive deep into our episode today. To being a mom of 7, how did you do it? Manage all of these things, your work, and also, find out that time for yourself. What would your message be for the moms out there, today who might be having a tough time, the young moms with the new babies and, managing work and barely having any time for themselves if they have long working hours, and also taking care of their families? What would be your message for them, and how did you sort of work it out with such a big family and being there for them, and as well as being there for yourself?
It is, I empathize. It is difficult when you have kids to find time for yourself, but I think you have to make that time. You have to realize that spending time for yourself to take care of your health is not being selfish. I think a lot of women think, oh, geez, that's selfish if I take 30 minutes or 15 minutes just for me, away from the kids or away from the family. But really, that you need to do that for everyone. If you're not nourishing yourself and giving yourself energy and strength, you don't have anything to give back to the kids and the family. So when my kids were young, I did find it difficult, but I literally exercised with the kids around me. Whether it was a little baby, I put him in a little baby seat and do exercises with him sitting next to me, or I would with every baby I had a stroller, I'd take them out for a long walk. I mean, walking is the number one, the best way to get exercise is just to get outside in the fresh air, push your baby in a stroller. I stop at the park along the way, or stop somewhere along the way and do a few stretches, or take the baby out and let him play at the park. And then I might do a little park workout while I'm there with the kids. So I always found ways throughout the week to exercise, and if it wasn't time alone just with myself doing it, I just had my kids with me. They did it with me, they would watch me, or sometimes, they pretend they would work alongside, like a side mom, and imitate what I'm doing. So it's actually a good learning lesson for your kids. It's a good example to set for your kids, for them to see you exercising and making your body a priority, your health a priority.
Absolutely. And did you also grow up in a similar household where you saw your mom or your parents, be very active or be conscious about their health from a young age?
You know what? They were conscious of their health. Yes, my mom was conscious. But back then, years ago, women, they didn't exercise. They didn't go to gyms. And I get that question a lot about my mom. Has she always exercised? She's not always exercised when I was a child growing up, but she's never been sedentary. She's always been active. I've got 4 brothers and sisters, so she was a busy mom. She didn't sit down hardly ever. She was always active. And then when she turned 65 and she hit her retirement years, she became less active. And that's when she woke up and she's like, I'm not as active as I used to be. I need to make it a priority. And now I need to actually schedule it into my week. So yeah,
Right.
I saw her growing up being active, and I saw her growing up making healthy food choices.
That's amazing to know. And you talk about your under 20-minute routine. Tell us about that. Like, what is it exactly? And do you think it's enough if we just work out for 20 minutes a day? And how is it that you have planned this out for yourself?
You know what? In the past, I love exercising, so I could exercise for hours. For me, it's like meditation, But I've realized over the last few years that you don't have to work out for hours. You don't have to work out for 45 minutes. If it's 20 minutes and it's 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, it's still 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes consistently. And I think if people kind of let go of that all or nothing mindset where they're like, geez, I don't have 45 minutes a day, so forget it, I'm not exercising. And then they put it off, so then they don't exercise at all. So instead of doing that, if you do 10 minutes here and 5 minutes there and 10 minutes there, you've done 30 minutes for the day. And if you actually focus on what you're doing in the moment, like put your cell phone down, trying to find those 10 minutes, 15 minutes where you're not going to be distracted, and you really focus on those 15 minutes or 10 minutes to exercise, you can get a good exercise workout in. You just have to stay focused, and you just have to be consistent.
Absolutely.
If you do that consistently, you'll see results over time. Those little moments throughout the day, they're going to add up.
True. And I just saw a video of you, doing this 15-20 minute routine probably 2 times a day or 3 times a day in separate segments, which is amazing, right? Because like a lot of us have work from home today. We have the opportunity to do that. We have, we can work from home through our laptop, and we might be on a couch the whole day, but it's a great way to segregate this workout time throughout the day, to just get that break from work, get moving. It also
Right.
boosts the way your brain feels, the way you have your energy, the way you think, and in a split of a day, right? So that's amazing, and that's something that a lot of young moms can definitely implement in their day. So that is an amazing learning from everything that you shared today. So thank you for sharing that with us. And what was your expectation of aging like when you were 20 or 30? What did you think you would be like as a 60-year-old, and versus how do you feel today, and how has this transition been for you?
I think looking back now as a young person, and I think any young person, if they were listening to me right now, to me, 60 sounded old. And even now, I just turned 60 in November a few months ago. And even in my head, I think 60 sounds so old. But now that I'm 60, I realize 60 is not old. And 60 doesn't have to be old. You know what I mean? Some people think 50 is old. It doesn't have to be old. That age is a mindset. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm so old, now I'm 50, I can't do that, and I can't do this, and because I'm old, no, that's not correct. It's all in your head. Just because it's a number doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do something. So, I've realized now, and especially by looking at my mother, she's 91, it gives me hope. I realize that, you can reach 60, 70, 80 and still have a lot of life left in you. If you do the right things, you have to take control of your life, control of your health.
Absolutely. And like you said, that your mom also got very serious about exercise and other things like that after 65, which is just incredible. That just tells us that it's never too late. And if you just have the right resources, the right focus, you can absolutely begin, right? And about menopause, so how was that transition for you like? Did you do something specifically to ease into it, and what were the changes that you had to adapt to in terms of your physical health, the way you exercised, your energy, or what did you sort of change in your nutrition when you were going through that transition?
Well, you know what, I was really, I don't know if it's fortunate. I think that my transition through menopause has been pretty smooth because I attribute that to my exercise and the way that I eat. So I really didn't have a lot of side effects that were like difficult for me. There's a few little ones, I guess, aside from maybe not sleeping as well at night. Know what to do now to remedy those. But I think it's really important for women to realize that muscle is really important, especially as you age. And don't wait until you hit menopause to start building the muscle. Now that we know that it's important, start building that now before you hit menopause. Because the older you get, it's not that you can't do it, but it's just more difficult. You know what I mean? So prepare yourself for menopause, knowing that muscle is really crucial because as your hormones fluctuate and they start to drop, your body starts to change. It starts to change. So you have to do things a little bit differently. And that's what I did. I stopped doing a lot of the high intensity cardio that I used to love doing. It creates a lot of stress in your body. I really put more of an emphasis on building and maintaining my muscle. So really being mindful of eating enough protein every day. So, when you're younger, you just think, oh, food is, I'll eat what I want. But I'm more mindful of my food choices now. And I make sure I do the best I can every day to get enough protein, to get enough fiber, to not overstress my body, a little more emphasis on rest in your body, exercises that are more gentle on your joints, focusing on mobility exercises and balance exercises, which, when I was younger, I wasn't really thinking about, balance. A little bit, but I was like, I'm fine. But as you age, stuff like that you don't think about for prevention.
Absolutely. And you're a great example to see that because you've been working out since you were 20, right? It's a great example. Maybe the decades of your focus on your health, on working out and strength training helped you ease into menopause. And that's a great example for us to, take in today and also be a little bit more conscious about the way we strength train, the way we plan our day, the way we plan our week, right? So thank you for sharing that with us. And nutrition is such a debated topic today specifically. There are just so many of these opposing views. There are these food wars, and everybody is just confused on what to go for, what not to go for, and how personalized nutrition has gotten today. So obviously this is not nutrition advice, but because you are someone who has been fit for so many decades and something has clearly worked out for you, right? So what were your nutrition principles, pillars, what was something that you did as a non-negotiable for your nutrition that has worked out for you over the years?
You know what? I would say that there's a couple things. I would say that I think people in general, like you said, there's so much information out there. You're scrolling, you're like, oh my gosh, what kind of food? Too much, not enough, fasting, keto, there's so many things. It's confusing. I think try and keep it simple. And that's been my philosophy all these years. I keep it very simple. There's nothing I don't eat. I try and keep it balanced. I try and get most of my nutrition from whole, real food, natural foods. I try and aim to get enough protein every single day. I try and eat a balanced nutrition. And I think the biggest problem today, and it's very difficult in our world because everything's so supersized, is portions. I think a lot of people, I think if you go to a restaurant, you're like, wow, that's all I get, because we're so used to seeing big meals. I think, most people, when they're overweight, I feel like a lot of it is they're eating too much. And it really is. My belief is it's calories in, calories out. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to reduce the amount of calories. That's energy. Take in less calories than you're burning, and that's how I live. I'm never on a strict diet. I don't really count macros. I look at my food every day and I eat what makes me feel good. And I know what feels good in my body. And if I eat something one day that not so good, like my kids want to go to McDonald's one day, I'm like, okay, we'll do that maybe once every 6 months. And do I eat it? Yes, there's things I eat that aren't good for me. And I look at it and I go, you know what? It tasted good. It wasn't great for my body. But you know what? Tomorrow is a new day. And I just start over fresh. You don't beat yourself up. It's life happens. But I think the main thing is watch your portions and just make really healthy food choices and try and eat as close to the natural foods as you can. Stay away from the high, the overly processed foods. But yeah, it's portions, I think that's the biggest part is the portions.
Right. Is just a breath of fresh air for us because there's just so many things available to us, right? So many of these researches, no matter what you search for, whether it's the advantages or disadvantages, it'll be backed by research, and that just confuses the end user today and what to go for, what not to go for, right? So it's just,
you can only just do your best. It's they talk about seed oils and gluten. There's so many things and you're like, oh my gosh, what can I eat? It's confusing. I just try not to scroll and read so many things about food. I think everybody basically knows if it's healthy or not. What a healthy food is. A natural food from the earth, it's healthy, right? So eat as much healthy food as you can and know that focus on protein, focus on fiber, that's very important, and treat yourself occasionally. Just don't overdo it. You have to. I think what's really hard for society today is delayed gratification, and I think it's really difficult for a lot of people just to say, no, I'm not going to have that. And I know so many people that go, no, but I want that, and it's okay. You can have it sometimes. You just shouldn't have it all the time. So that's why I don't like diets. If you go on a diet, it says, well, you can't have sugar for so long. You can't have something with this in it. Well, that immediately you're going to want to have it. So I don't say no to anything. I just say no sometimes. It doesn't have to be always.
Right, of course. And no, that's true. A lot of us try to just control this one little portion of our life. Like, if it's, even if it's like, okay, say sugar, like no sugar, we just focused on that. But that one thing is not going to impact as much as how much we plan our, like, whole day, whole week, and how much
Right.
we are giving out the balance within our workouts, our nutrition, our sleep, everything as much as we can, right? And we try to cut, like, major in the minors, like we say, right? So that's amazing. That's a fresh perspective, and really keeping it simple can help us in the long run.
Yeah, just keep it. It's like it's same thing as with workouts. It's just like my motto is simplicity. Like with your workouts, you don't have to do anything fancy. You don't have you don't need to have a ton of equipment. You don't have to be in a gym. You can use your body weight. You know what I mean? You can strength train using your body weight. Just keep it to the basic, simple exercises. But the main thing for both, for eating and for exercise, is consistency. Don't do it for 2 weeks and then go, nah, I didn't see any results, and then you just stop. I mean, that's what a lot of people do. January 1st, all these resolutions, they do something for a couple weeks and they don't see a difference in their body, and they're like, oh, it didn't work, so I'm stopping. But it's not short-term goal. This is a lifestyle. So
True.
It's something that you need to realize, like, this is something you're doing for your life. So just make the best choice you can for the day. And if you mess up one day, then tomorrow's a new day. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. And what is it that is a very constant part of your routine over the years, something that you never miss, that is a non-negotiable, and you stuck to it throughout the decades?
I mean, I'm just going to go back to strength training. It's just an exercise in general. For me, it's a non-negotiable. Of course, there's days where I'm busy. I'm like, oh, I just didn't get it in. But, I exercise 5 days a week, sometimes 6. And like, if I say 6, I mean, there's sometimes 7. And when I say exercise, it doesn't mean I'm always lifting weights. But, Sunday might come and I might just do like a 10-minute yoga stretch. Just something. It has to be something that I'm doing for my body. And it doesn't mean I have to be in workout clothes. I can be standing in my bathroom and go, I'm just going to stretch for 10 minutes. Because it makes me feel better. And I know it's good for my body. And just mentally, not even just so much for my body. I feel as I age, it's more for my mind almost than it is for my body. Like, I just mentally feel better.
Absolutely. No, that's true. I mean, how they say that if you want to change the way you feel mentally, your mental state currently, even a 2 shift physically can do that for you, right? So just moving can do so much for us than being the goal of losing weight or anything else. But it can do so much for us, like, for a whole well-being, right? So that's amazing to know. And lastly, of course, a lot of us now have started becoming so aware of how important strength training is, how important our nutrition is. Like, a lot of young people are also consuming this content, and acknowledging themselves, and they are trying to make these measures from an early age, right? But like you said, when we are young, we are not really thinking about that long run, that I'm preparing for my 60-year-old body or something. We just working out probably to look good, to feel good,
right?
And just because it is a good break from our work for us, right? So, but for someone in their late 30s or 40s who really want to now focus on changing the way they work out or the way they look at nutrition completely, just to get more stronger when they are aging in their 50s or their 60s, what would be the areas of focus, like something that they have not probably never focused in their 20s or 30s while working out? What would the areas of focus like where they should be balancing it out when they are now progressing over it?
Like I said earlier, I would say focus on number one, strength, but start putting in mobility exercises, like moving in your joints, not just lifting weights, but actually moving your body like you do everyday movements, reaching, lifting, pulling, walking, lunging, sitting, like for example, just sitting down on the floor, which is a squat, but I've done this many times on my Instagram, and I get a lot of responses from even young people that say, I can't sit down on the floor and get up like that. But that's the natural movement that everyone should be able to do. And if you don't do it over time, you take that from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and all of a sudden you hit 45 or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to get off the floor. If you don't do that consistently, I mean, good luck when you're in your 50s, you won't be able to do it. And then that leads to, if you don't do, in your 50s, that you're looking at maybe being in a nursing home down the road. So I think the biggest thing I could tell young people now is to ask yourself, what do you picture yourself looking like, feeling like, moving like the 50s, 60s, beyond? Like, how do you imagine that in your head? Like, what do you want your life to look like in those ages? And then when you see that, are you doing anything, or what are you doing to get to that point? Because if you're not doing anything, mobility, strength training, balance. It's not just going to happen naturally. You need to take charge of your own health and prepare for those later years.
Absolutely, that makes so much sense. Thank you for sharing that. And that brings us to the end of the episode today. As we conclude, do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with?
I would just say, you know what? Just don't do nothing. I think just let go of that all or nothing mindset. Simply, the best place you can start is just walking. Like whether it's out, I mean, if it's too cold outdoors, walk indoors, march in place. Everybody, I don't believe the excuse when people go, I just don't have time. Everybody has time because we have cell phones now, and you can't tell me that you're not on your cell phone for 5 or 10 minutes scrolling. You know what I mean? Like everyone has 10 minutes. So put your phone down, whether that's you have to get up earlier, go to bed later, or just put your phone down for 10 minutes. Everyone has 10 minutes, and I guarantee you, if you move your body for 10 minutes, and really notice how you feel, you're never not going to feel better. You're always going to feel better moving. And just that 10 minutes of you feeling good, a light bulb will go off in your head and you go, you know what, I actually do feel better every time I work out. And that'll spark you to do more. It'll be like a snowball effect.
True, because a lot of times just thinking of that 1 hour of workout and wearing your gym clothes and going out of the house just seems like a big effort on some days, right?
I mean, I agree. And I love going to the gym, but like there's days, and I don't go to the gym anymore because I have a gym here. But I totally understand that just the whole exercise of putting my workout clothes on, going to the gym, that's a 2-hour process.
True.
Which I understand for moms, that's not even doable. That's what I'm saying. You don't even need, I post videos sometimes not even wearing workout clothes. You don't have to wear workout clothes. If you're wearing jeans and you can't stretch your lower body, you can do upper body. You can still walk. You know what I mean? You can still do things. You don't have to be in workout clothes. You can be in a skirt. If you're at home and no one can see you, you can be in a skirt and do exercise. Who's going to see you? Like, doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Something that me also personally, I am going to take back with me and do some of these things because I mean, I have myself been struggling with work and scheduling and, going out for that 1 hour of workout and me having weights at home, right? So, I mean, that's something that I can definitely start with little bits of movement throughout the day. And I'm sure that that is going to get me somewhere. And I did have this all or nothing mindset. And a lot of us, heavy gym goers, we feel like, what am I going to do with this? Like, I just rather do a 1 hour workout or nothing at all. I mean, that's not going to do anything for me.
You're sitting at your desk right there. I have a full gym in my garage, like a full studio gym. But to be honest with you, because I'm in the house working, cooking, doing stuff in the house, I have a whole set of weights and my resistance bands in the house, and I keep the weights under my desk and the bands on the side of my desk. So I'll get up like every 30 minutes and I might do like 2 minutes of a band exercise, and then I go back to work, and then I get up and I go, oh, you know what? I'm going to do like shoulder presses, and then I put my weights down, and then maybe an hour later I might get down on the floor and do like some push-ups. Like, it doesn't have to be all, in 15 straight minutes, but just you sitting there, you could have a set of bands at your desk, you could have a light set of dumbbells, and by the end of the day, you're like, wow, I actually had a total of 30 minutes, I got a whole workout in.
It's just the most realistic way of looking at it, and it's just amazing. I'm sure that a lot of us can definitely begin to do that today.
I mean, I'll give you a tip. Like today, I was listening to a podcast, and I usually put my podcast on, and I just set my phone on my desk, and I pick up my weights while I'm listening to the podcast, which is like for work. I'm listening to it, but I'm doing my workout. It's like I'm doing 2 verses, so I'm like listening to my work, and I'm going, okay, now I'm getting like I can get 7 to 10 minutes in, and I'm done. So I do 2 things at once, and then I might do that later again in the afternoon, and then by the end of the day, it's like, wow, I actually got my whole 30 minutes in. Write it down. You need to write it down so you actually schedule it like a doctor's appointment.
Right. I mean, of course, we can always merge in leisure and movement together. Whether we're watching TV, when watching Netflix, we're listening to something, or we have that little break, we can definitely have these 2 things together, right? So
right. Like if you prepare ahead, like in your mind, say, I know tonight I'm going to watch a movie for 2 hours. You know what? I'm just going to put the weights in. Every time there's a commercial on or whatever, I'm going to get up and do 10 squats. Every time there's a commercial, I'm going to do squats till the end of the commercial. And then the next commercial, every time it comes on, I'm going to do like a set of push-ups on the couch. Like you can get a full workout. I think there's all these creative ways that you can do it.
Right. That's a great way of movement snacking, and we should definitely have it in our lifestyles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dalyce ma'am, for this amazing episode, for your time today.
Welcome,
it was really interesting, and I mean, I personally have many takeaways, and I'm sure that my mom is going to also look at this and be the first one to take back a lot of learnings from here. And more power to you and your mom, and you're really inspiring so many women out there, and the links will be in the description below. The ones who haven't already followed you, they can reach out to you, learn a lot more from you, because your content is just so amazing. If it were to me, I can save each and every post and have it in my routine. So definitely a lot more learning from you, and I hope that we see you inspiring a lot more people and doing a lot more out there.
Thank you, Sakshi. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. That's it for today's episode. I'm Sakshi Pawar and I'll be your host for the Settle or Be Better podcast. So stay tuned. I'll bring more inspiring stories.